Hello, my name is Eric Wilson, and this is an update after 24 hours of feedback and things to do for week 4 based on the feedback. First of all, it's kind of like completing what I promised in the professional video, and that is we need to establish the venue, the latitude and longitude coordinates of the venues, meaning what do I mean? Stores, okay? We need those latitudes and longitude coordinates so that we can route towards them. Create a page for routing. All right, that could be a separate page altogether that gets populated with our array of lat longs, which are going to be different. Sometimes it'll be 13 if you're in Montana. Sometimes it'll be 120 if you're in New York. We need to be able to capture all that. Connect the buttons on the page to the functions regarding the navigation route. Now again, this is kind of like back to the basic UI. If I want to go there to the first one, right now the buttons just kind of fire and they show in the console log that they fired. Now it's time to connect them and have them actually create that routing function. Display all of the locations using the lat and long coordinates with like little pins on the map. Enable the user to press those other locations and route them additionally. I mean, if you can go to the one that I provide you, you should also be able to go to the ones that are also on your app screen. And speaking of the UI screen, the user interface, it needs to work on smaller screens because when I ran it on the iPhone 6, we had some overlap. Okay, so that needs to be recreated. Right now it works great on an iPad. It needs to look better on an iPhone 6. So in this video, I'm going to show the local storage working on the app. I'm going to show the local storage working in the console at the same time, show the cloud storage working, and then show the app with the stored data. So this is enough of me. Pardon me. Let's establish this. Okay, right now we have 240 custom objects. That's me working on this along with a lot of help. And now we are populating, we are sending things to the cloud, and here's our proof. So after I run the app on the iPad, we should see this number increase, okay, from 240 to however many calls we are currently making. So we'll check back with that. And here we go. This is the area that we're going to watch, is the Studio Console. As we select week 3, and we get ready to run it to my iPad. And the cloud database needs to be stored again because I've made some changes, but away we go. And we're going to get a bunch of stuff back in the console log here. But you can kind of see over here we got 2 functions in the cloud database. And in fact, while that's running, let me just kind of go over things. This has not changed, okay? The app calls for the UI right off the bat. Then you check for network, okay? And if it's online, it's online. If not, we need to authenticate the cloud database or the Arrow database, which is the second page. Otherwise, we cannot find you. Then load the local storage. Okay, this is run enough, so we have plenty of local storage. We've also got stuff in the cloud. So let's authenticate the cloud. The way we do that is that we make sure we set that to true. The debugging property is true because we're in development mode. That's my admin, that's my password, and we need to go get the geo coordinates. Why this is needed is because so much is involved with a map. You need to know where you are and where the things are that you want to get to. So we're going to log success if things are successful, otherwise an alert with the alert. Now there are 2 things on this page. Remember, here's one function, login user, okay? The other one is save to the cloud. This, after all, is the cloud page. All right, and the way we do that, we had to drill down into this array database, iterate. Okay, it just happens to be that the name is the name. I called them the same things, but you could have called this anything: name, location, distance. I need to add, remember our things to do list, I need to add the venues latitude and the venues long, VLAT and VLONG. Okay. We'll get a success function. We'll get an alert actually on our app. It says the array has been saved to the cloud, and an alert if it wasn't saved to the cloud. Make sure you export both of these functions, login user and save cloud. And of course, not a whole lot changed with the get geo. Okay, we're still getting it, and we're calling for the API page, which is the next page, all right? And then within the API page, we had to create a loop. And within that loop, we had to stringify the loop because the data itself had arrays nested inside. So we had to stringify that as it came out. But it's still called venue array. So the venue array, as long as this is running, pushes each place until it iterates out and it loops out. And before we close out the onload function, we need to require the next page. We need to save locally the venue array, and we also need to save to the cloud. It's ready for me to launch the application. We'll do that shortly. Here is the local page. Okay, there's your SQL statement. Execute. All right. There wasn't a whole lot to save initially. It was just location and name. Just keep it simple. Push the row data, update them, then require the next page and update database array on the next page. That's the UI. And this UI will go from being a static thing. There's your map currently. Okay, we're gone from a static to actually filling in the text on the views with live data. And this is how we did it. We did the update UI, and here's how we're populating these. Okay, name is way up here, right? Name, create label, blah, blah, blah. But what do we want on that label, in the name label? This is what we want. We want the data from the first array. That's the closest one. And it just happens to be called name as well. But remember, the location has 3 places. It's got an address, a street, a city. It's got an address, a city, and a state. An address, a city, and a state. So we wanted to populate that as well. Add all of those to the UI update. Okay, so without further ado, I am now going to bring up the iPad, okay, and see if we can, I'll squish this down a little bit, okay, move this out of the way so that we can still see the console.log, okay. So please manually launch the application. Boop. All right, there is the old data that it is stored. Remember, require the UI. All right, it wants to know my location, but look what happened here in the console log in the meantime. We are online, we have logged in, we have data, there's my password, here's my name, the Wilson, we have success, okay, there's all our keys. All right, time to keep moving, right? We've given this permission, I say allow, and watch it populate. That right there, CVS Pharmacy, at that location, that is live data. And what do we have here? We have an alert. It says success. You have success in storing the data, which is a neat alert. Okay, I say okay, and we get a whole bunch of other fields coming back as Foursquare data. Now again, remember, look at all of this data that we have parsed. This is all of the it turns out that there's CVS's, okay, in our local area. Here's our location, okay, our latitude and longitude, our elevation, and this is our URL from Foursquare. I asked it to show me how many rows were saved. There were 30 saved in the database array, okay. This was parsed, and I asked it to console log out. All right, so again, we've got that first one. And then you've got your, this is posting to your cloud data. And then here's the Foursquare parses also going to places. Right? There's all the pharmacies, you know, CuraScript Pharmacy, Cardia Pharmacy, CVS Pharmacy. CVS Pharmacy happens to be the most popular. But what I want to show you is that final alert, okay, you have saved to the cloud. So not only have we loaded the local data, we've also stored to the cloud, okay? And I finished that, and the array has been stored to the cloud. I must have console logged that or alerted that out twice as well. Array's been saved to the cloud, array's been saved to the cloud. That must be on repeat. So I'll have to keep working on that. But we have saved to the cloud, and we saved locally. This is Eric Wilson with the updates. And just as a refresher, the things that I'm going to be working on are up here for the week 4 assignment. Okay, have a nice day.